Welcome to This Explainer. Look, if you've been paying any attention to global health trends lately, you already know that metabolic diseases are just skyrocketing. And for decades, we've been told it's a simple math problem, right? Calories in versus calories out. But the latest science is revealing a much more incredible story. And it's one that's happening at the microscopic level, right inside your gut. Today, we're going to completely rethink what makes food healthy. And trust me on this, it goes way, way beyond the nutrition label.
So, let's just jump right in and ask the big question. Are the very tools we use to outsmart our diets actually backfiring on our biology? I mean, we live in an era of diet sodas, low-fat energy bars, zero-calorie sweeteners. We've chemically engineered our food to supposedly give us all the stuff we want without any of the consequences. But the data shows we're getting sicker. Why? Are these hacks actually the problem?
To set the stage here, let's look at the baseline. We all know the established causes of metabolic diseases like type 2 diabetes. Chronic obesity underlies roughly 55% of cases. We've also got poor diets, heavily reliant on sugar-sweetened drinks, a sedentary lifestyle, and even really fascinating factors like sleep curtailment or prenatal undernutrition. We've known about these for years, and we've been fighting them with dietary guidelines and sugar substitutes, yet despite our absolute best efforts, the rates are still going up. Section 1. The sweetener illusion, tricking the brain. To solve this paradox, we have to look at one of our absolute favorite dietary hacks, artificial sweeteners. We think we're being so clever by cutting out the sugar, right? But our biology is significantly older and honestly a whole lot wiser than a diet soda. You see, our brain is hardwired to expect a massive delivery of calories when it tastes intense sweetness. It basically throws a welcome party. But with artificial sweeteners, the alarm bells ring, the prep work happens, and then crickets. Those calories just never arrive. You might think that's a victory for your diet, but your body interprets it as biological confusion. This metabolic mismatch is a really big deal. Confusing our appetite regulation can actually crank up our cravings. Your brain is essentially saying, hey, I was promised energy, and it drives you to seek out sugary foods later on. Even worse, clinical research is showing these fake sugars can impair how our cells respond to insulin and completely alter our gut microbiome. We end up overeating, all from a product that was literally designed to make us do the exact opposite. Which brings us to section 2, the plot twist. The food matrix collapse. So if fake sugar is tricking the body, we have to look at the overarching villain of modern diets, fake food structures, also known as ultra-processed foods or UPFs. Health isn't just about the chemicals in our food. It's about the food matrix. This is the physical structure, the tough plant cell walls, the natural packaging that our digestive system spent millions of years evolving to break down. When you eat a whole apple, your body actually has to do the work to unpack the sugar from that fibrous matrix. Researchers proved how absolutely vital this structure is in a landmark trial by Kevin Hull's team. It's fascinating. They took 2 groups and matched their diets exactly for calories, sugar, fat, and fiber. The only difference? One diet was unprocessed, the other was ultra-processed. The result was just mind-blowing. Subjects on the ultra-processed diet naturally overate by about 500 extra calories a day and gained significant weight, even though the nutrients were identical on paper. How does that even happen? Well, it happens because ultra-processing techniques like extrusion, puffing, and refining act as industrial pre-digestion. The factories are systematically deconstructing the natural food matrix using heat and pressure. So by the time that food reaches your mouth, it's essentially already broken down. The physical barriers are entirely gone, and your body's natural pace of digestion gets totally bypassed. Let's look at section 3, the biological domino effect, from the mouth to the cells. This collapse of our biological defenses is quite literally a domino effect, and it starts the second you take a bite. Because the matrix of ultra-processed foods is so soft and collapsed, it dramatically reduces your need to chew. Think about how fast you can inhale a donut compared to eating a raw carrot. This accelerates our eating rate so drastically that we swallow massive amounts of calories way before our brain's early satiety signals can even register that we're full. The next domino falls down in your gut. Because the food is essentially this pre-digested mush, it dumps into your upper intestine and is absorbed almost instantly. Normally, complex food makes it all the way down to the end of the gut, the ileum. Hitting the ileum triggers the ileo brake, which is basically your body's emergency stop button, forcing the secretion of crucial fullness hormones like GLP-1 and PYY. But UPFs are absorbed so high up in the digestive tract that these sensors are completely silenced. Your gut literally never sends that "I'm full" text to your brain. The third domino is the cellular impact. Because of this unnaturally rapid absorption, you get hit with what scientists call a nutrient flood. Step 1. Massive amounts of glucose and lipids hit your bloodstream all at once. Step 2. This triggers an aggressive spike in insulin. Step 3. Your overwhelmed liver starts converting all this excess energy directly into fat, a process called hepatic de novo lipogenesis. And finally, step 4, your microscopic cellular engines, the mitochondria, become so stressed out by this flood that they start generating reactive oxygen species, which is really just a fancy scientific way of saying they literally start rusting your cells from the inside out.
So what we have here is an unbroken, vicious cycle of biological chaos. Food matrix collapse drives behavioral dysregulation, which causes endocrine suppression, leading to a core metabolic insult. The entire disaster happens simply because the food lacked its natural, physical structure to begin with.
Section 4. The gut disaster, a dual hit to the microbiome. But listen, the damage definitely doesn't stop at our metabolism. This collapsed matrix wreaks absolute havoc on our gut microbiome, creating an ecological disaster. It's a dual hit. First, by stripping away complex plant fibers, we literally starve our beneficial gut bacteria of their food. They have nothing to ferment. Second is the chemical assault. UPFs are packed with additives like emulsifiers, which act almost exactly like dish detergent on your intestinal wall, basically eroding your protective mucus layer. Between starving the good bugs and scrubbing away our defenses, we trigger a leaky gut, where bacterial toxins just flood right into the bloodstream. And that leak? It directly ignites systemic, low-grade chronic inflammation throughout your entire body. When those endotoxins leak out, your immune system completely freaks out. It treats the leaked bacteria as a full-blown infection. This persistent, simmering inflammation acts as the fertile ground for almost all non-communicable diseases. We're talking heart disease, type 2 diabetes, fatty liver disease, even depression. It all traces back to that compromised gut barrier. So what's the solution here? Well, the food industry tries to fix UPFs through something called nutritionism, meaning they think they can just add isolated chemical nutrients back in. You know, they make a highly processed protein bar and sprinkle in some synthetic fiber or vitamins. But as we've seen today, you just cannot recreate a healthy, protective food matrix with an arithmetic game of isolated nutrients. True health relies on whole foods, where we actually value the organic unity of both the food's composition and its natural physical structure. The ultimate takeaway from this explainer is this. We have to stop obsessing over the back of the nutrition label, counting every single carb, fat, and calorie. Instead, we need to prioritize the physical structure of whole foods. Understanding what industrial processes have been done to deconstruct our food is absolutely vital if we want to reclaim our metabolic health. I'm going to leave you with this final thought. If the physical structure of your food literally dictates the biological structure of your health, what are you going to put on your plate tomorrow? Are you going to continue to feed your body an artificially constructed illusion, or will you embrace the complex, natural matrix your biology was beautifully designed to handle? Think about that the next time you're walking down the grocery aisle. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and keep asking the right questions.